I think that leads really well into talking about macros, and maybe we should define those. I think that kind of you and I are acting off the assumption that everybody knows what the heck a macro
What a
is.
macro. It's that
What
thing
is
on
a
your
macro?
computer, right? You do a macro and it does stuff.
Yep.
Insert
Or
the
it's
clip
on
of
your
the
camera.
cat.
It's macro image. Yep. I
Yeah.
love it. Yep. Tiny details. But macronutrients, so there's micronutrients, which are like vitamin B, C, A, K, whatever you can come up with, all sorts of those things. And then macronutrients are the bigger nutrients that are in our food. So there's three main ones. There's fat, carbohydrates, and protein. Those are the three macronutrients that we're going to be talking about today.
Yep. And they're essentially the ones that, as the name says, you need them in larger quantities for your body to function well.
Yeah. They play a huge role in the way that our body functions. And a lot of diets, I think we should talk about, there's a lot of diets out there on the market that restrict like carbohydrates in a massive way. And it's a huge component of what our body needs. And so cutting them completely out of your diet unless there's a specific reason for it, is not a great idea. It's hard on your body, and your body needs it for energy production. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And a couple of them have become super mainstream that it's almost like a badge of honor to like, oh, I'm keto when you don't need to be keto.
Yeah.
And to me, it just seems weird, because why would I cut out all of my carbs basically to do this?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I have a hard time with keto specifically because of ketoacidosis. And like, that's a thing that we can talk about more in depth. But essentially, like when you remove carbohydrates completely from your diet, what happens is that your body has to use a different energy source. So it has to use protein or it has to use fat. And so if you are pulling proteins into your body as an energy source, first of all, it takes longer. So you've got this brain fog that is happening because there's not quickly broken down carbohydrates, which breaks down to glucose that go into your brain. So you're breaking down amino acids, and you have to get all these little parts in order for you to get brain food. And then what happens is that it causes your blood to become acidic. And then there's a whole host of other problems that come from that. So short term, people see weight loss on keto because they're cutting carbohydrates. And so there's not, the water comes out of your body, all sorts of things happen. But long term, it's not, I don't think that it's a good solution for weight loss. It's not sustainable, and it's not something that is good for your body in the long term.
Yeah.
That's
agreed.
my little tangent. Yeah. Like keto.
Agreed.
Boo, keto.
But also it's so hard to actually like do it properly, because once you start to eat like the minimalist amount of carbs, like maybe 3 French fries, you've broken it. Your body's going to be like, we have carbs now, abandoned.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel good. That's the other part, is like the toxicity of it. Like your body just feels like I think there's a term, I don't remember what the name of it is, but I'm like, but there's literally like a keto fog or a keto detox thing that happens when your body is trying to like adjust to that energy production style. And it's rough. It's not good.
Yeah. Agreed.
Anywho, I don't know if we need to include all that, but
we'll see.
We'll see how it goes. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Heather, a certified personal trainer, yoga instructor, and have my BSN in exercise science and behavioral coaching from Arizona State University. I currently live in Oregon with my 3 kids, who I will reference often.
And I'm Britt, a former Division I collegiate athlete turned recreational triathlete and fitness instructor. I have a degree in exercise biology from UC Davis, and I currently live in Belgium with my husband and fur kids.
Together, we're best friends wanting to bring the world of health and fitness back to a more grounded and balanced place that's accessible to everyone.
Each episode, we're going to talk about ways to live out a well-rounded and healthy life that makes sense in today's modern, busy world. We'll cover topics related to exercise, nutrition, mindset, mental health, competition, and so much more.
So sit back, sign up, and let's get ready to race to wellness.
I did not make it to my run today.
No, that's okay.
And I'm not mad about it because I didn't get on my run. I'm mad about it because I didn't have my like time to like let my emotions get out and like get that feeling of like post run.
Yeah.
So part of it was I was very frustrated with having to fix my audio of the last podcast.
Yeah.
And it was just like, this is not where I want to be right now. I'm so frustrated. But I was like, okay, I had about 30 minutes or so before our friend came over. He was bringing his dog to come meet our dog and like see if they'll be buddies and things like that.
Yeah.
So I had about 30 minutes. I have a brand new fanny pack for my running. I got it at Disneyland because look how cute that is.
That's awesome.
I know. So I got it.
Cute.
And I was like, okay, great. And when you buy it, the strap is like this and like tied up. So you can't see how big it is or anything until you take all the tags off.
Yeah.
I get it.
Is it too small?
Put it on the smallest size.
It's too big.
Smallest size.
Holy shit. Oh, you're going to have to like sew it or something.
I don't even know how to fix that. I'm just like, maybe if I like sewed
if you
this
like fold
all
it
up somehow. Yeah. But
yeah.
I was so pissed. And then I put it around my husband's waist and he's a fair amount larger than me and it fit him.
Oh gosh.
And I was like, this is on the smallest setting of this whole thing. And it fits around a 6'6" male's waist just fine.
Yes.
How big did they think people were going to be with this?
Right? They're like, Americans are buying this.
Right?
Oh my God.
The only thing that made sense was you put it around your back as like a sling.
Oh, but that's terrible.
Yeah, like this. This is the only thing that makes sense to me. Wear it like that.
Yeah, no. But
like,
that's not going to be comfortable while you're running. That's going to go like boom, boom, boom. No.
But also it's a fanny pack.
Oh, I was like, girl, ship it to me and then I'll sew it for you. But we know how much that's going to cost. Oh my gosh.
It cost me $800 to get this $25 thing.
Oh my gosh. I'll fly to Belgium and sew it for you. It'll be great.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this morning. I was like, we have to schedule. Yeah, I was like, we have to schedule when I'm coming to see you. We got to figure that out.
Yes.
Yes. Oh my God, the washing machine is going and something just fell off the top of it. I was like, he's in my house.
Someone is in your house.
I was in a laundry basket. Oh my God.
Oh man. I also noticed that I have cut out of every single episode so far. The words are hard.
Oh yeah.
Like I've said it on every single episode.
Yeah, but you cut it out.
And I was like, this is my thing. This is my catchphrase. And I've cut it out every time because it's been me being like, blah, 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 I can't talk.
But it's so funny. You should leave it in.
Maybe I'll have to go back and like, we'll make a bloop of all of them. And then from now on, we'll leave them in.
Yeah.
It'll be my merchandise. It'll be like, words are hard.
Yep. I love it.
But yeah, super funny because I'm like, oh, there it is again. Found it.
There it is. Yeah.
Cool.
Cute. Oh gosh. So I did for part of my workout, I did my overhead. I'm like, what are they called? Overheads.
Oh, the lat pullovers?
Yeah, that's the one. Yes. Mm-hmm. And I only feel it in my triceps and my chest.
Oh yeah.
And like I did it. I was like, I did it wrong.
Well, also because depending on like where you set yourself up, like it moves the work because like your body has to be able to lift the weight type thing. Yeah. And if you go far enough back, it like gets out of your lats and into like your shoulders and things. And yeah.
Well, I also know that I did it with too much weight, which is hysterical. So the thing is that I was at the gym, right? I'm at the gym and I've got my 10 pounds that I was doing for chest flies. So I do my chest flies with my 10 pounds on each side. And then I walk over and I put the weights down, and then I walked back to my bench, and then I look at my training plan and it says, do your lat pullovers. And I was like, I need the 10-pound weights for that, but I look like an idiot if I go over there and pick up the same weights because there's a dude sitting right there. So I was like, pick up a heavier weight. I was like, there you go.
Yeah,
so
get a different one.
One. He probably wasn't even paying attention or giving a shit about what I was doing. But I literally was like, okay, I'll just grab the 15s to do it. And so then I grabbed 15s, which was too heavy for me to do my lat pullovers.
Oh no.
Yeah, but I was like, just do it. Just suck it up. You did this. Because you can't after that.
This to yourself.
15 pounds. Right. I was like, after you pick up the 15 pounds, realize it's too heavy. Then I'm going to walk back in front of that dude 5 seconds later and pick up a different weight. I'm like, no, this is too much. Like, oh my gosh. I've been going to the gym for years. I would like to tell our listeners, I've been going to the gym for years, and you still think about that stuff 10, 15 years into it. Like, oh, God. Yep.
Yeah. So I only get the benefit of the doubt that I'm working out from home right now. So there's no one there to make fun of me when I walk in front of the weights for a 4th time because I couldn't figure out what I needed.
Right. I'm like, I should know this. I don't know this. I don't know it at all.
What I need right now. I have the adjustable ones. So like you turn the little dials and then you pick out the dumbbell. And it was last week for, what is it? I have my thing in front of me. Hang on. What exercise was I doing? It was something that I should have known better. And I was like, why? Why did I do this?
Why did I do this?
Was Friday. Oh, it was the same exercise. So I'm doing them in a glute bridge for my lat pullovers as well, because I'm at home. And so I had 20 pounds on it. And I was like, this isn't enough. And then I was like, 25, I got this. Okay, this one feels good. And then I was like, I'm going to go up 30 pounds. Let's do this. And then like at the end of the thing, after I finish it, I have a little asterisk star on it that says, go back down to the 25.
Right. Go back down. This was not right. I love it. I also like had the biggest brain fart because I was at the gym at like 4 or whatever time. I don't even remember. It was super early. And I was sitting there and I was like looking at bent over rows. But again, I was going to have to walk in front of that dude to get to pick up the weights that I wanted. And I was like, what is an alternate for a bent over row? And I stood there for like 5 minutes and I had already wiped my bench down. That was the other part, is I had already wiped my bench down. And so I was like, is there anything that I would sit on the bench? And I was like, then I look like an idiot because I just wiped my bench down and then I'm going to sit back down on my bench. And I was like, just do a seated row, Heather. Go over there to the machine and do a seated row. But I was like, what is this? Like, what is happening on this workout day?
Especially because that was the exercise that I was like, people won't have access to this at home. We're going to need a different thing.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as I sat down on it, I was like, oh yeah, we switched this. And I was like, you're so silly. Like, just
you're so dumb.
So dumb. I love it. Do what you planned, Heather.
Yeah,
follow
the original workout plan I had created, and then I made an alternate for the at-homes.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Pull it together.
Get your shit together.
So get your shit together.
Oh my God.
What is that? It's from oh gosh, Napoleon Dynamite, right?
I haven't seen that movie. It's so long.
So long. Get your shit together, Tina. No, it's not Tina.
It would be Tina if it was Napoleon Dynamite.
It would be Tina. Yeah. But I'm like, maybe that's the phrase. Maybe it's something else.
Oh God. I need to okay.
Oh no, it's Carol. It's from Bridesmaids. Get your shit together, Carol. They're playing tennis. Yes. Yep. Oh, sun's out.
Hey,
real time. I was like, in the last 12 minutes, we've had 4 seasons. That's fine.
Yeah, that's about Oregon for you. How many seasons can I put in a day?
Right? You can't put that many. Hold my beer.
Hold my beer. Yeah.
Hold my beer. Hold my microbrew. Oh my God.
Yeah. My hard kombucha.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I went to McMinimans the other day and they only have alcoholic kombucha over there. I'm slapping.
Oh, boo.
Like, I didn't even know that.
I do like alcoholic kombucha though.
Do you?
Yeah.
I can't because I realized that the kombucha has caffeine in it. I'm like, so I can't. I know. I have all these kombucha in my fridge that I cannot drink.
For when people come to visit, just be like, can I offer you a beverage? Some kombucha, maybe?
Some kombucha? Take it away, please. Yeah.
When I went to visit my parents last year, we went to Costco one day and I was like, they have hard kombucha. And I bought the Costco size one of it.
Yeah.
And I was only at their house for like 5 days. So I'm not going to drink an entire Costco case thing of it. So they have so many left.
Oh, cute. Kombucha. I love it.
All right. Before we get into today's fun topic of fueling your workout as opposed to working out to fuel, I wanted to tell you all that we will be doing a Q&A episode in April. Where we want to answer some of your questions. So if you have questions from episodes we've done already and you've listened to, or maybe just other questions that have popped up in your head, go ahead and send them in to racetowellness2023@gmail.com. You can leave them in the comments section down below. You can find us on all of our social media platforms and give them to us there. We're going to be combining them all together to make a real fun-filled episode for you. So send us your questions.
Yeah. I'm excited for that. Or you can just ask Brittany questions. Like, Brittany, where did you get your hat?
Yeah, all my cool hats.
Yeah. I love it.
Also, side note, I want your color hat. Like, I want a hat in this color.
It's such a good color. This is from Colombia.
Yeah, I see that. I want it.
Yeah, the big logo on my forehead.
Exactly. It's like, right. Technically, this is a big logo too. It just doesn't look like one. It's from Tres Piñas.
Oh, cute. I like it. Yeah, I love this color.
Yeah, it's a good color.
Cool. All right. Are you ready to talk about it?
I'm ready to talk about it.
You want to work out? It's my favorite part of working out is getting to eat. Because I'm like, whenever I think about like diet and exercise, I'm like, the reason why I love working out is because I love to eat. Like, I am unwilling to reduce the amount of food that I consume on a daily basis. So I will do all the workout, all of it.
True.
Yeah.
And like for me, for a large part of my existence, I have not, or up until like you get to the age of like upper high school, college type age where girls generally start to have their body issues. Like, I never had any issues with food. Like my home environment never had issues with food. Like food was food. And so I just grew up being like, yes, I will eat that piece of cake. And yes, I will have that piece of lasagna.
Yeah. Give it to me. Cake is my food. That's my favorite thing.
It is my favorite dessert.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, Papa Haydn's. I was like, we used to do birthdays there.
I miss it so much.
So good. Like, come back to Portland.
I know. But yeah, I agree. Okay. I love being able to like eat something and not have to worry about like, not like consequences of eating it, because that sounds wrong, but like have to worry about, oh, is this going to make me gain weight, or like, should I be eating less of this right now and just cut the portions and like, I don't like having to think like that.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm like, I like being able to, every once in a while, I will do like a food tracking app or something like that to be like, where am I? Like, what am I eating on a regular basis? Where am I calorie wise? But I don't like living my life like that. And so just having an understanding of what foods are good for me, what levels of eating are really good, and how that impacts my fitness routine, that kind of stuff. I like just having that general idea and thinking of food as an energy source and as fuel. Ooh, let's drop a pen. But yeah, I'm like, I don't like living in a constant count. I'm like, that's not a good thing. Yep.
I just am not, what is the word I'm looking for? It's, but I find myself, I like using the apps to be like, I've had my breakfast. Here's all my stuff. And it will tell me how many calories, etc. but I will forget to do it so often. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't tracked in 3 days because I forgot.
Right. Yeah.
But I like going back and being able to see it and be like, oh yeah, this is why I feel like shit, because I didn't eat any proteins all week and I've just been eating macaroni and cheese and mashed potatoes.
Yep. Living that carb life.
Living that carb life. But like, it's nice to be able to see that. I just don't tend to stay dedicated and committed enough to do it.
Yeah. I just don't have the mental energy for it. I'm like, not all the time. Like I said, probably maybe once a month or once every like 3 months or so, depending on how I'm feeling. Cause sometimes I'll be like, whoa, I'm eating a lot, or whoa, I'm not eating enough. And like, what am I doing? Yeah. And so like figuring out those balances. Yeah. I like using it for that, but I don't like living in a life of just counting all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like once every 2 weeks is actually probably a smart way to do it, just because you can go back and like readjust where you are then, especially if you're following any sort of like weightlifting plan where you might be building muscle or losing some fat. If you haven't listened yet, we did a whole episode on it.
Yeah.
But if you are like actually changing your body composition, you probably need to also start changing your food intake every so often to meet your new needs. And so like once every couple weeks probably is enough, as long as you're not like drastically changing your food habits every single day.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you track yours, do you track it like for calorie based, or are you tracking it to look like at specific, like this is how much protein I've had, this is how many grams of carbs I've had? Like how are you looking at your data?
I should be looking at my macros more, but I honestly look at my calories. I'm like, that's where, and the reason for that is because I pretty consistently eat, like I eat a protein with every meal. I'm like, I don't eat a lot of carbs. I don't eat processed foods for the most part. Because I'm really good at like just filling up my plate with a variety of different things. I don't specifically look at the macros unless, to your point, unless I'm like trying to lift heavier, then I specifically start looking at my protein. But for the most part, as far as like fat and carbohydrates go, I just kind of let it fall wherever it's going to. How do you look at yours? Like, what do you look at?
I look at the opposite way. I almost never look at the calorie part, because I feel like, based on my own history, which I'm sure we will eventually get to talking about, but I feel like just looking at the calorie part is not going to give me good food, because I'm going to look at something and say, oh, I just ate 300 calories for this one thing, and now I only have 150 calories or 200 calories left for my goal, but I'm not feeling like satiated. What do I do? And so I try to look at it more. How much protein have you gotten? Are you getting enough like good fats in your diet? Are you overeating on like salt and that? Because that's a big one. That will tell you a lot too. Are you eating processed foods? Because they are loaded with salt.
Loaded. Yeah. Salt and sugar. Yeah. I guess that's why I look at the calories. So like for me, as long as I know that my protein is in line and I'm hitting my calorie target, like because protein makes up such a large part of my diet because of the weightlifting, I feel like it's really hard to go over like on the others if I'm maintaining those two things. Does that make sense? I'm like, it's yeah.
Well, that's why a lot of people tell you to go protein first on your meals, because it's going to help you fill up on that meal, and then you're not going to eat 300 grams of mashed potatoes with your dinner.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I also like limit myself. The limit isn't the right word, but I do like, I have tactics so that I use smaller plates rather than big plates, so that my food fills up my whole plate and it looks really satisfying. And then, like I said, I just like portion my food out so that protein makes up the bulk of it. And then the others fill in. And and I limit like I don't go crazy on mashed potatoes or starches and that kind of stuff. Although sweet potatoes, man, I will go ham on those. They're so good. with coconut oil, roasted in the oven, little salt. Happy day.
And a garlic aioli sauce.
Yeah. It's so funny. I'm like, I love sauces, but I don't put them on my food regularly. Like a sauce for me is like a special occasion thing. I don't know how that got in my head, but
you would not work well here.
No, are there sauces for everything?
We should eventually do like a tour of our fridges and like what's in our fridge, because the sauces here in Belgium, and I should do my neighbor's fridge instead because theirs is even better. It's like every single condiment that you could ever want, but you have to have them all. It's not like how my fridge used to be in America, where it was like, you have ketchup, you have mustard, you have ranch, you have maybe one other thing, and that's it. Like, I'm pretty sure I have at least 8 condiments in my fridge right now.
Oh, wow. I have like Asian condiments. I have like chili garlic sauce and that kind of stuff, but
I'm not even counting those.
Oh, really? I'm like, because those go in my cooking. I was like, I think that's where it comes from, is like, I put so much flavoring in the food that I make that I don't need a sauce most of the time.
Yeah. Like, I'm not even counting things that I would use like in cooking. I'm thinking of just the condiments that you would use, like if you were going to dip your French fry in something or like put on your burger, whatever. Like, those are the condiments I'm thinking of. And I can think of like at least 8 right now.
That's wild. That's so good.
It's like thinking about the cereal aisle. You know, the cereal aisle is jam full of every flavor. The condiment aisle here is jam full of so many things.
So many. Oh, interesting. When I was in France, I was blown away by their like jams and jellies. Like, that's a full aisle. Like here, it's next to peanut butter and honey, and then you have like the other half of the aisle is something else. But in France, when I was there, it was like so many jellies. Like, okay, I like that.
It's like in between France and US here for jams.
For jams. Okay.
It's a nice healthy balance.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think that leads really well into talking about macros, and maybe we should define those. I think that kind of you and I are acting off the assumption that everybody knows what the heck a macro is.
What a macro. It's that thing on your computer, right? You do a macro and it does stuff.
Yep.
Insert
or
the
it's
clip
on
of
your
the
camera. It's macro image. Yep.
Yeah.
I love it. Yep. But macronutrients, so there's micronutrients, which are like vitamin B, C, A, K, whatever you can come up with, all sorts of those things. And then macronutrients are the bigger nutrients that are in our food. So there's 3 main ones. There's fat, carbohydrates, and protein. Those are the 3 macronutrients that we're going to be talking about today.
Yep. And they're essentially the ones that, as the name says, you need them in larger quantities for your body to function well.
Yeah. They play a huge role in the way that our body functions. And a lot of diets, I think we should talk about, there's a lot of diets out there on the market that restrict like carbohydrates in a massive way. And it's a huge component of what our body needs. And so cutting them completely out of your diet is, unless there's a specific reason for it, is not a great idea. It's hard on your body, and your body needs it for energy production.
Yeah. And a couple of them have become super mainstream that it's almost like a badge of honor to like, oh, I'm keto, when you don't need to be keto. Yeah. And to me, it just seems weird, because why would I cut out all of my carbs basically to do this?
Yeah, I'm like, I have a hard time with keto specifically because of ketoacidosis. And like, that's a thing that we can talk about more in depth. But essentially, like, when you remove carbohydrates completely from your diet, what happens is that your body has to use a different energy source. So it has to use protein, or it has to use fat. And so if you are pulling proteins into your body as an energy source, first of all, it takes longer. So you've got this brain fog that is happening because there's not quickly broken down carbohydrates, which breaks down to glucose, that go into your brain. So you're breaking down amino acids, and you have to get all these little parts in order for you to get brain food. And then what happens is that it causes your blood to become acidic. And then there's a whole host of other problems that come from that. So short term, people see weight loss on keto because they're cutting carbohydrates. And so there's not the water comes out of your body, all sorts of things happen.
Yeah.
But long term, it's not, I don't think that it's a good solution for weight loss. It's not sustainable, and it's not something that is good for your body in the long term.
Yeah.
That's
agreed.
my little tangent. Yeah. Like keto.
Agreed.
Boo, keto.
But also it's so hard to actually like do it properly, because once you start to eat like like the minimalist amount of carbs, like maybe 3 French fries, you've broken it. Your body's going to be like, we have carbs now, abandoned.
Yeah. And it doesn't feel good. That's the other part, is
No.
like the toxicity of it. Like your body just feels like I think there's a term, I don't remember what the name of it is, but I'm like, but there's literally like a keto fog or a keto detox thing that happens when your body is trying to like adjust to that energy production style. And it's rough. It's not good.
Yeah. So which one is your favorite macro to talk about then?
We all know it's
I
protein.
like protein.
It's protein.
Why it took so long? I was expecting you to be like, I'm talking about protein right now.
Yeah. Right now we're going to talk about it. I was like, well, I could talk about carbs. I like carbs too. But no, I like talking about protein. Yeah. So protein in our bodies, oh my gosh. Protein is a building block for your muscles. Like that's muscle food. That's how I think of it. And so when you go to the gym, what you're doing when you're lifting weights or you're doing any sort of exercise, you're kind of putting your body under attack, is not only what it feels like. So it feels like you're under attack, which is why some people don't love going to the gym. But in addition to that, you're literally tearing down your muscles. You're creating micro tears in your muscles in order for them to get larger. And the proteins that we eat break down to amino acids, which go into the muscles and feed those muscles and help them grow and heal. And so I don't know where I'm going with that. I'm like, so eating protein, oh my gosh, it was brain fart. But eating protein is incredibly important, especially if you're trying to put muscle onto your body. Shifting to higher levels of protein as a macronutrient for what you're eating will help you build your muscles and maintain what you have, so that you're not getting weaker, you're not feeling weak, you're not feeling fatigued, that kind of stuff from working out. Yeah. That feels good.
That feels good.
That feels good.
And also our body uses protein in more ways than just building muscle. So it's not just, oh, you're a gym rat, you obviously need protein. I'm not a gym rat, I don't need protein. No, your body needs protein for so many things. Like all of our hormones are proteins of some sort. They're made up of different amino acid combinations than your muscles, but they're made up of the same building blocks. And
it's so important.
Exactly. And some of the amino acids we can't make ourselves. We have to consume them in our food. All right.
Cool.
My favorite one is carbs. I don't know if people have figured that out yet, because I like pasta and French fries and all these things.
Oh my God, a good croissant. Oh gosh, tout le jour. I don't know if you've been
also a really good like English muffin. Oh,
yeah, legit. 100%. I know that there's a lot of hate that happens on carbohydrates, but I want you to think of like other countries. So thinking about the US, like I feel like it's a huge thing that we hate on here in the US as a fitness industry, but other countries love their carbs. So like in France, we've talked about in France, they eat bread all the time. Like every meal, there's some sort of bread or croissant or something like that. Lots and lots of countries have bread as a part of their meal on a regular basis, and it's not hated on. Same thing with like Italy, like pasta is loved in Italy. And it's not like the people are thin, they're fit, they're healthy. Yeah, it's lovely.
No, one thing that I have noticed though that is very different since moving here is how long your food lasts though. So I went and I bought a loaf of bread, much the same as I would buy in America, in the like plastic wrap already sliced up. and I bought it so that I could make sandwiches, that sort of thing. And I brought it home, and I know how long it takes me to eat bread when I'm like making it with sandwiches. It takes me the exact same amount of time because I'm not eating them any quicker or slower over here. Okay.
Yeah.
I bought the bread on, let's just say Monday, because I don't know what day it was. And by Wednesday night, you could already see that this bread was kind of starting to turn. And then by Thursday, there was mold on the bread.
That's
and I was
wild.
just like, no, this is not how bread works.
And yeah, but it should. I'm like, but it should work like that.
It is exactly how bread works. And I just had not been accustomed to knowing that this is what fresh bread does. You can't keep fresh bread forever on your shelf.
No. Whereas in the US, you could literally buy a loaf of bread. I think I've bought bagels and they'll be in the pantry for months and they're just fine. No mold grows on those. Like, which is that's not good. There's something wrong with the bread here, people.
Yeah.
I sound like a conspiracy theorist when I talk about that. We've talked about this before. But when I was in France, like, right, when I'm here, if I eat bread on a regular basis, it feels like a rock in my stomach. It does not feel good. But when I went to France, I was there for 2 weeks. And the whole time I was eating bread for breakfast. I ate bread at lunch. I ate bread at dinner. And I had no stomach troubles, no problems at all. And it like, I felt totally fine. And I was telling them, I'm like, I swear there's something wrong with the food in the US. And they were like, it sounds crazy. And I'm like, I'm telling you though, it's different. It's different here.
Yeah, for sure. I also bought a roll once, just like a regular dinner roll, because I was going to have it with my soup. And then I ended up not eating my soup that night. And the next day it was rock hard, like the roll. And I was like, oh, come on. Like these things go, like they turn so quickly. It's basically you go buy it for that day.
I was like, yep. Which is why in other countries, I think there's also a difference in like the way that we shop here versus in other countries. I know that here, like I'll go grocery shopping for the whole week or a couple weeks I'll plan for, and I'll go buy stuff and put it in my fridge or my pantry and it's totally fine. Whereas other countries, I know it's a much more like regular thing to go shopping daily or to go to little shops and little specialty places and get things on a daily basis or a more regular basis rather than planning for the whole week.
Yeah. I think that also goes back. Well, it's because the food tends to not keep as long, but also there's not as much storage for your food. My fridge is a mini fridge. It's just bigger than a mini fridge. So like, it does not hold a week's worth of food if I'm going to cook all my meals at home necessarily.
Yeah. It holds a couple weeks worth of books.
Heck yeah, it does. If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
Go follow us on TikTok.
Yeah. So good. I was dying when I saw that. It was so funny. Dead. Oh.
Anyway, long tangent to say that carbs aren't bad. They're good for you. You just have to eat the right carbs and eat them in proper amounts and not eat them for your entire meal. Anyways, carbs.
Carbs. Yay.
So carbohydrates are made up of glucose, which is what we need. It's a fuel that we need for our body to perform basic actions because it's the energy source that our body prefers to use. It's easy to break down. It's easy for the body to consume it. It's just what we would rather have.
Yes.
And our brain wants that energy. So it's like having gasoline for your car. Your car is going to prefer gasoline and not diesel if your car is set up as a gasoline powered car. Same if you're an electric car. Your car is going to prefer electricity for its fuel source. Our brain wants glucose.
Yep. It needs it. It's one of the things actually, like anytime that I'm starting to have like a lack of focus or brain fog or anything like that, I go immediately, my thought goes, my blood sugar is probably low. When was the last time that I ate? And then I make that adjustment and I usually eat something or like get up and move around, that kind of thing, so that I get out of that brain fog. But glucose. I'm like, have a little piece of fruit. It helps.
Yes. And our body unfortunately can't make its own glucose. And so we have to consume it from our food.
Yep.
let's see, carbs, they're also really necessary for our physical movement. And they help with our recovery process as well if we're building muscle. So I was just writing a blog post about this, and you'll probably see it. Maybe it's posted by now, who knows? But I was just writing something about protein are like the materials for when you need to build something or when you need to fix something, and your carbohydrates and your fats are like the laborers and the energy that they put in and the work hours that they do. Like they're making it necessary for you to build whatever you're building using the protein.
I like that. That's a cool way to think of it.
Yeah. I was much more eloquent when I wrote it.
I love it.
But you get the gist of it. Yeah, go read it. You get the gist of it. The protein are your building blocks for your house, and the fats and the carbs are your construction people and their time. There you go.
Love that. Cool.
So when we think about carbs, a lot of the first things that come into our head are pastas and bread and these thick starchy things, mashed potatoes. But they're also found in fruits and vegetables. And those carbs are also full of micronutrients. So thinking our vitamins, our minerals, other pieces of the puzzle that we need to function properly. And so I'm sure they are found in breads and grains too, honestly, but we are putting them in there. We are, what's the word? Fortifying. We are fortifying our other foods with these minerals and these micronutrients, whereas they are found in your vegetables and in your fruits.
Yeah.
You also get fiber out of them, which is necessary for a healthy bowel and making sure that our digestion is working good.
And digestion is such a necessary process. Like, I don't know that people realize, like, there's been studies done where they were like, okay, so if our whole system is made up of X amount of glucose and X amount of minerals and vitamins and all that kind of stuff, could we just use supplements so that the body is then getting all those things that it needs and not eat at all? And your digestion, if that isn't functioning, like, it's horrible on your body. It doesn't work. It stops functioning. There's the absorption process in your small and large intestine is such a necessary part of life that just giving your body supplements and vitamins and pills and all that kind of stuff is not. You have to eat. You have to eat real food.
You need food.
Yep.
Exactly. Well, because also, like, if you're not eating real food, I'm sure you have waste that is still coming out from your body that needs to be evacuated. And it is probably not a great process to do it without fiber and real food. Like,
yes. Well, and fiber, I don't know that everybody realizes what fiber is. So fiber is like the cell wall of a plant, which our body cannot break down. We don't have the ability to do that. And so the parts of the plant that we're not able to break down are essentially come through the body and push through the intestines in order to push all the waste out of your body. And that's why it's important, is it's literally like a physical thing that happens to push through your body, the parts of the plant that you can't digest. Yeah. The body is so cool. I'm like, I love nerding out on this stuff because I'm like, our bodies are so cool.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. And then we got fat.
I love fat. It's so funny because, like, there's two different types of fat, right? So there's the fat that's on our body. Oh, there's three. Okay. I'm like, whoa,
you mean that kind of fat?
Yeah, I was like, there's the fat that's on our body, and then there's like fat as part of our food and the digestive, like, breakdown of into macronutrients. It's so cool.
And then there's the pH fat. No,
yes. So funny. I'm like, I was so confused because I was like, what other type of fat? I was like, okay, I'm not that nerdy, I guess. I didn't know about fat. Ridiculous.
I thought you were gonna actually break down the types of fat, and you were going 3 different types or 2 different types. I was like, don't forget the third one.
No. That's so funny.
But now I made the joke better because it's cool. No gang signs, please. No gang signs.
No gangs. Way off the rails. Oh, I love it so much.
Water break.
Water break. We got this. Okay.
Fat.
Fat. So good.
So there really are 3 different kinds of fat.
There really are.
There are trans fats, there are saturated fats, and there are unsaturated fats. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard of trans fats because all of our food now is basically marketed as no trans fats.
No trans fat. Yep.
Trans fats are the bad fat. You do not want trans fats. They are made up of artificial fats, so things that we've kind of created, and they're usually added to your food to make sure that the shelf life gets extended. And they're not helpful in the body. In fact, they're pretty bad for your cholesterol and your artery. Like, just in general, they're bad. Don't eat them.
Don't eat them. Yeah. Yep. They're the ones, the cholesterol is a huge thing that people talk about. And so when you go to the doctor and they tell you that you need to lower your LDL cholesterol levels, they talk about cutting trans fats from your diet. And there's research and studies that show that if you're consuming trans fats in healthy balance with unsaturated fats, that the trans fats don't cause cholesterol problems. But if you're eating it with saturated fats, then that's when you start to have those high cholesterol levels and issues in your system.
That's really interesting.
Isn't that? Yeah. Yep. The trans fats on their own aren't bad. It's the combination of LDL, HDL, which is low density lipoprotein, and HDL is high density lipoprotein. The HDL is the good one, where it's really bound together. So it's really hard to break apart, whereas the LDL is much more loose. And so then it gets broken up into your system. And that's when you start having cholesterol issues in your body.
Yeah. I always thought
I sounded so smart right there.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Shit. My degree. I learned something.
I always thought of it of H was healthy and happy.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
So I labeled those as the bad. And then we have the better, which is saturated fats. Saturated fats, when you think of them, these are going to be made from animal products mostly. But they're also found in palm oils and coconut oils and chocolate, which I just learned.
Boo.
But in moderation, it's fine. Don't worry. But saturated fats, they are like the solid fat. So like when you think of it in your brain, it's like the block of butter that you're going to see. We want to make sure that we're not overdoing it on these types of fats. So in your diet, maybe 10% or less of eating these, because again, fat is good for you. You do need it in your body, but there's a better way to get it into your body. So these are better than trans fats, but there's a best fat. What I did there, the bad, the better, the best.
I love it.
So there's a best fat of unsaturated fats, and these ones are found in a liquid state. So think olive oils and anything that when you have it already, like at room temperature, it's in a liquid. These are made from plants, and they're made from vegetables or plants. So my notes, that says made from vegetables and plant sources. I don't know why I didn't just say these are made from plants.
That's funny. I mean, I guess I was thinking coconut oil, but coconut oil solidifies. So I guess that would be a saturated fat. So
it is.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do we need fat, Heather?
I don't know.
This podcast is off the rails and I love it.
It's wild. It's a good one. I feel like after the fat loss muscle building one, which was very technical and serious, this one's technical and serious, but like also fun.
Jokes.
The jokes. We got jokes today. Both of us woke up and chose violence. So
we did. Oh, we had some great times. If I left it in the podcast, I probably did, but you already heard about my fanny pack issues and I was just mad.
Mad about it. I love it. Yeah, so fats are an energy source. They're high calorie, and it helps with building our tissue. It helps with insulation in our body. It helps with helping things cross our blood-brain barrier. So in order for things like micronutrients to get into your brain, you have to, the wall is hydrophobic. And so it's afraid of water. That's what that means. And so it has to be bound to a fat source in order for it to get through into your brain as an energy source. What other reasons are there, Brittany?
You have things, again, the blood-brain barrier is helping you absorb things, but it doesn't always go into the brain. So sometimes you need some vitamins that are fat soluble. So vitamin D is a big one that people take as a supplement that is fat soluble. So if you're going to take a vitamin D supplement, you would want to try to take it with some sort of fat and not just a glass of water to help you absorb it better. What else? It helps the body produce hormones. These are necessary.
Yes, they're very good for you.
It helps you maintain some healthy hair and skin. Don't look at my hair as an example today because I get to wash mine after this. But Heather's hair is looking great today.
This is day 3 hair. That's why it's in a braid. Or yeah,
I think mine is like day 6 or 7 hair. Like it has been a while.
It's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute. Let's see. I already said that it helps us produce hormones, but the hormones that it helps you produce help you maintain your muscle. Obviously, they give you the mood boosts. They give you the ability to control your hunger. So ghrelin and leptin that we have talked about before.
Woohoo!
Helpful from fat. My favorite one is the cushioning for our organs. Because, and this is an interesting one too, because you don't necessarily want visceral fat. Because so visceral fat is the fat that is stored right around your organs. So like fat that's stored right around your heart and your liver, like you don't want that fat on your body. It's not good for you to have high visceral fat. But the fat that is on your body, like outwardly under your skin and near your muscles, that fat is going to help you with some cushioning for if you were to like get punched in the stomach. You want to make sure that that punch doesn't go all the way through into whatever organ is near you. So it helps with cushioning that blow from whoever is being mean to you.
Yeah. Yep. Or if you're pregnant, that's another a consideration, is having some cushion around that. Perfect. I was going to say, so in the last episode where we were talking about building muscle and losing fat, we talked about 2 episodes. Oh my God.
I know.
Oh my God. How is that happening already? Okay. Anyway, so in one of the episodes, we talked about your BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, which is the minimum number of calories or energy intake that you need in order to just sit on the couch and breathe and exist as a person. So when thinking about your macronutrients, you should be aware of what your BMR is, so that you can choose how much food or how much energy you're going to consume in order to maintain your health and fitness and to build muscle on your body.
And also depending on what your goal is. So if your goal is to build muscle or to lose fat, we already talked about how you're going to have different eating needs for that. You're also going to have different levels of your macros based on that. So if you're trying to build muscle and you're trying to eat more protein, you're going to have different levels of needs than you are if you're trying to be in a calorie deficit. So just being aware that 50% of your food might come from protein if you are trying to build muscle, but maybe only 30% of your food might come from it if you're trying to lose weight.
Yeah. I do want to be clear that this is for educational purposes only. And so if you are looking to adjust your macros or your nutrient intake, that kind of stuff, you can seek professional help. There's tons of nutritionists out there. I would recommend somebody who has been certified or has a degree in some sort of nutrition. Something to note is that people can put the word nutritionist next to their name. There are no certification requirements in order to do that. And so it's important that you vet anybody that you are going to be working with.
Yes.
Cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
How do you fuel for the gym?
Girl, I love going to the gym on an empty stomach. I'm like,
what?
My
No.
friend.
Oh.
Yeah, I really do. I love it. I love it. My friend Berg, he gets so upset about, he's like, I don't understand how you can work out on an empty stomach. He's like, I have to eat 2 hours before, and it has to be a really solid meal. And then he'll go work out. But no,
That's funny.
I love being on an empty stomach at the gym. I don't know why. Yeah.
So I can actually see that.
Yeah.
One, growing up, I had very bad eating habits, and I was literally talking to my parents about this, not like in a bad way or anything, but I was like mentioning how like poor little Brittany wouldn't eat lunch.
Oh yeah.
She just wouldn't. Like, it wasn't that I thought I was fat. I just wouldn't eat lunch at lunchtime, and then I would go straight to practice and haven't eaten since breakfast at 7 a.m.
Yeah.
So I could see that. But also when I was teaching fitness classes at 5 a.m, I would wake up and not want to go make breakfast or like spend the time doing that. I'd rather sleep for an extra 25 minutes. And then I would go teach class. And the only time that I was like super ravenous would be after cycling classes, because I actually did the full workout.
So much. Yeah, for sure.
But
yeah.
I am the opposite. I do not like working out if I am like totally empty. Don't like it.
Yeah, I do. I'm like, I really like that feeling. And it's, I think that it's because I work out so early. Like I typically, my workout time is like 5 a.m. And so waking up at 4 and having something to eat does not feel good in my body. But I do love coming home from a workout and then eating right afterwards. I like that feeling a lot, because then I feel like, oh, like my body then feels like I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. And then I'm like satisfied, like so satisfied by the food that I eat. Yeah. And then it almost feels like in my body, like then I'm so satisfied that I feel like my lunchtime gets pushed off longer, which is not good or bad, but I'm like, but it feels better in my body. Whereas if I eat at 4, then I feel like my window of eating, if that's a term used in intermittent fasting, which is whatever, you can like it or not. But which is not something, I don't really intermittent fast, but I'm like, but I am aware that if I start eating at 4 o'clock in the morning and I don't go to bed until 8 or 9 or 10, that's a long time for me to be fueling my body to stay awake. Whereas if I put off eating until after I've gone to my workout at 5 a.m., come home at 6 or 7 o'clock, and then eat breakfast, then it kind of cuts down that window of time a little bit more. Yeah.
It also depends on like when you stopped eating too. Like if you stop eating later in the day, it's probably easier to then work out on an empty stomach really early in the morning. Whereas,
yeah, which is funny because I'm like, I usually eat dinner. It's been getting later. It's interesting with kids. Like I used to make dinner and have it ready at like 5 or 6. And I've realized that if I have dinner ready on the table for my kids at 5 or 6 o'clock, then by the time that they go to bed at 8 or 9, they're hungry again, because they're so freaking picky at dinner. So I've pushed off now dinner is like 7:30. Yeah. So that they're not like, I'm hungry right before they're
make
going
me
to
more
bed.
food. Can I just have an ice cream?
Exactly. I love having ice cream before bed. And the reason for that is, I'm like, it's really good for you. I'm like, it's naturally, well, really good for you.
Depends.
But it's good for you because your melatonin levels, if you have a little bit of fat and a little bit of sugar right before you go to bed, it keeps your melatonin levels high enough in your body that it keeps you in sleep. Whereas if you don't have enough fat or sugar in your body when you go to bed, your body will naturally drop your melatonin levels, which then causes you to wake up. And then you're like, I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. Yeah. So having a little fat and a little sugar right before bed is a good thing.
Yeah. My mom, hi mom, because I know you're listening. But my mom can attest to the fact that when I was growing up, I would get a bowl of ice cream and I would bring it into my room and eat it in bed before sleep. And then I had a lofted bed, and above my bed was a shelf, and I would just put the bowl up there. And like once a week or so, she'd come into my room and be like, "We need bowls, give them back."
Give them back, Brittany. Oh my God.
Hoarding all the bowls because I ate ice cream before bed.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sorry, Mom.
Sorry, Mom. Cute.
But to your point though, of waking up at 4 a.m. and trying to put food into your body and then going straight to a workout, not everybody can handle that necessarily. And what I mean by that is that your gut or your stomach, it's going to find it difficult to put in all of these foods right away when you wake up in the morning and then go do some extensive exercise. And so some people might find it just easier on them and on their stomach to not eat in the morning, go do their workout, and then come home and eat.
Yeah, for sure.
But if you are not working out super early in the morning, right after you work out, a lot of people prefer to eat something very light and easily digestible. So the first thing that comes to my brain right now is carbs.
Yeah. Quick breakdown.
We just talked about them. They're easy for your body to break down into the glucose that you need, and then use it for some energy to put that into your blood sugar so that you have it readily available for when your muscles are saying, "Hey, I'm running low on energy. What do you got?"
Yeah, I love that. I think of like an English muffin with some peanut butter on it.
I was thinking a rice cake, but English muffin sounds so much better.
Yeah, it was like either one of those. Well, I like an English or a rice cake with some salmon and avocado. That's so good. Like yum, yum, yum. Salt. The fingers.
Just season your food.
Season your food. If you know, you know. Oh my gosh, follow us on Instagram.
Just all the things. This is where that came from. This is where this joke came from.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Oh, another one to just point out here. If you are someone who likes a substantial meal, maybe that means you like to have like actual full lunch before you go work out, just know that some things take longer to digest in your body than others. So protein comes in all sorts of varieties. It can come from an egg, it can come from a chicken breast, it could come from a big sirloin steak, like all sorts of ways. They take different amounts of time to break down and be digested. So they might sit in your stomach longer and in your intestines, and that might not feel as good for some people to then go out and go running. So just keeping in mind that your pre-workout food might be different also for different activities. If it's something where you're going to be jumping up and down a lot and you don't want a whole bunch of stuff in your stomach, it might not be a good idea to have a big protein meal before you go run.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I think of like a cheeseburger, like the way that would feel in my stomach right before going for a run or even going to do squats at the gym. That sounds horrible. No, nope. But afterwards, after I do my workout, going to get a big old cheeseburger. Yeah. I'll do that. Doing it.
Doing it.
I was going to say the other thing that I really want to point out about the way that we're talking about the food is that it's fuel for our body, which is kind of the overarching theme of this episode is that you should be fueling your body. Like you shouldn't feel bad about the food that you want to eat or that your body tells you that you want to eat. It shouldn't be like I'm going to the gym to punish myself for eating that piece of cake. It should be like, I went to the gym and I feel so good and I need some energy and cake sounds delicious. Like that's what I'm going with. It shouldn't be a shaming thing. It shouldn't be something that you feel bad about. You should feel good about wanting to eat food and about the workout that you're doing. Like those two things are not an either or. It is a combination of both of those things.
Yes, agreed.
Yeah.
Because if you start thinking about it in the mindset of I can only eat the cake if I go push myself to exhaustion at the gym, that's when you start getting into this really bad mindset of, well, I didn't go to the gym today can I still eat this? Or what if you get injured and you're being forced to take a rest and you can't go do these workouts? But your mindset was, I had to go work out in order to eat this food. And now you're not allowed to work out. Do you still get to eat the food? Yes, you still get to eat the food.
You do. Yeah, I was going to say, or the other side of it, where you ate the food already, and then you go to the gym, and then you're abusing yourself mentally the whole time that you're there. Like, I'm not going to want to continue working out and going to the gym and working on my fitness if I'm constantly berating myself and telling myself, you're horrible for having eaten that cake. Like, nope, that's not a mindset we want to get into either. Like, I want to be able to eat the cake and enjoy the cake the whole time. I want to be able to eat the tacos and the cheeseburger and the whatever, and also take care of my body and feel good about the work that I'm doing.
Yeah. Mind you, this is not just an excuse just to eat all of the food all of the time.
Agreed. Yes. Yes. I'm like, because there are other things that are impacted by that in our overall health. If we're only eating cheeseburgers all the time, not so good. But a well-balanced diet should include some things that you really, really enjoy.
It should. And for me, that's cake and tacos.
And that's cake. Yes. Oh my gosh. One of my kids, one time he had a school assignment that it was like, what does your mom love? And he had to draw a picture, and he literally drew a picture of me eating cake. And I was like, yes,
I do. This is true.
I love cake. It's true. I love it. So good.
And we also shouldn't necessarily think of food as good or bad. Like, there are some bad, like we don't want to eat the trans fats, but cake, and it's going to sound weird, but cake and broccoli can both be good.
Yes. Yes, they can.
Again, you don't want to eat solely cake, but it might be necessary for you in certain situations. You might want to celebrate with people and they're eating cake. And so if you enjoy that food and you want to be part of the celebration, you shouldn't have to feel bad about eating the cake.
Agreed. I was going to say, I'm like, because that's thinking about the social health that you have, because that's a part of an aspect of your health. We're not just thinking about health as being your diet and your nutrition and your going to the gym. That is not the only aspect of health. There's social health and mental and emotional and spiritual health. There's all these different aspects of being a whole well person. And so if you are part of a social situation or a celebration like Brittany's talking about, and you're not allowing yourself to have the cake, then you're missing out on a social aspect of your health, and that's not a good thing. So we want to incorporate that part of it, allow yourself to be able to participate in those events without beating yourself up or having to go to the gym and work out for hours and hours and hours. Yeah.
Agreed.
I love it.
How about intuitive eating?
Yeah.
I like intuitive eating. It kind of goes back to the whole, do you track your food or not? That we kind of talked about earlier. So intuitive eating, if you don't know, is kind of just eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're full. And you're just kind of going with it based on how you feel, as opposed to, I need to eat 500 calories right now at this meal, and it has to be at 6 p.m. because I'm going to go to bed at 9, and making it this production.
Yeah, I agree. I really like intuitive eating. I think that if you're somebody that has consistently overeaten in your life, that it's something that you have to relearn a little bit about, to listen to those hunger signals and appetite and that kind of stuff. And that's something I want to distinguish. So I don't know if everybody is aware, but there's 2 different types of or sensations of hunger. And one of them is your appetite, and one of them is true hunger. Hunger is a biological response where your brain tells your body, hey, I'm hungry. I don't have the nutrients that I need. I don't have enough for energy production. We need to eat something right now. So what that feels like in our body is when we get the signals from our stomach, and in those moments where our brain goes, I don't know what I need to eat. I don't care what it is. Give me food, which is when we can't make a decision, when we're like, I don't know what I want to eat. I'm hungry, but I can't decide if I want to eat this or this or this or whatever, versus appetite, which is an emotional response that we've built in our brain around food and the experience of eating a certain food. And what that feels like in our body is that we'll be signaled and have a craving of, I want chocolate cake, I want cookies, I want chips, I want whatever the food is. So responding to that in our body and listening to our body and understanding those two differences is super important for intuitive eating, and just acknowledging in that moment. So when you get that signal from your body going, okay, is it signaling me for an actual food, or is it signaling food in general? And then learning to distinguish between those two things so that you can respond accordingly. Like, yes, I'm actually feeling a sensation of hunger. I want to eat this food, any food. Give me food.
Give me food.
Yeah.
Give me food.
Give me food. Yeah.
Like that.
Yep. Well, I think in addition to that, around appetite and emotional eating, I want to throw in there. So if you are experiencing often a craving for a certain type of food, or your body is signaling, I want to eat tacos, I want to eat this, I want to eat, I want to eat, I want to eat, identifying in your environment or in your experience in that moment, what's causing that. Sometimes it's stressors, sometimes it's emotional experiences that you're having, that kind of stuff. So working to identify those so that you're not just immediately emotionally eating and kind of binging. That comes up a lot.
Kind of tailoring off of all of that. We want to make sure that we are fueling our body appropriately and not beating ourselves up at the gym because we ate the cake or we want to eat the cake or whatever. And knowing that if we are giving our body sufficient fuel for our workout, we will probably have better results than if we are not starving ourselves, but restricting ourselves to things and giving ourselves the mindset of, I can only eat this if I'm burning 300 calories in today's workout session or 400 calories. And then having to struggle maybe to reach those goals that we're setting in front of ourselves.
Yeah. Well, and it's interesting, like if we're thinking about trying to burn calories at the gym, right? So if we set ourselves up to say, I have to burn 500 calories at the gym, but we've restricted our food in such a way that we don't have the energy to do the work at the gym. Like it becomes this vicious cycle of like, I didn't hit my 500 calories because I didn't have the energy to do it. So I need to cut my calories because I didn't hit that number. And so it becomes this really opposite, horrible balancing act. And so it's more important to fuel your workouts, right? So to think of, I need 400 calories to do this workout. So I want to fuel myself and give myself the energy to do that work. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like filling your car with gas. You can't drive for 200 miles unless you have 200 miles worth of gas in your car.
Yep. 100%. I really just want people to leave this episode with an understanding of like our energy in our body, what we're consuming as energy and putting into our body is so important for the work that we do as people, just in general. And I want it to be something that is a positive experience. I don't want people to be focused on labeling things as good food and bad food, or too many calories or not enough calories, or whatever that may be. Like thinking of food as fuel and just having a really positive mindset around it. That's not enough. I'm like,
I like that thought though. Because also if your goal is to be able to go to the gym and crush your workout, you're only going to be able to do that if you give yourself the tools necessary to do that. And one of those tools is putting enough nutrients and calories in your body to let your muscles contract, lift the weights, run and jump, whatever it is you're going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And while you're there, not beat yourself up about what you ate. Like, think like I fueled my body today. That's what I want. I fueled my body today to do the work.
Yeah.
Yep. And then tomorrow I'm going to rest, which is our next episode. So we're talking about rest days and active recovery and what that can look like in your body. So join us next time. We'll see you there. What?
Bye.
Thanks for joining us today at Race to Wellness. We hope it was both fun and informative for you. Make sure to join us for our next episode, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future content.
Also, we'd love to keep the conversation going, so feel free to ask us any questions or leave us a comment down below. You can also send us an email at racetowellness2023@gmail.com and click on the links in the description to follow us on our social media platforms.